Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, big, huge, unexpected news in the boxing world. Very pleasant surprise. So if you guys haven't heard already, I guess I'll be the first to let you know. It was reported on Boxing Scene, and not just Boxing Scene, but also I saw it on YouTube on Fight Hype. So shout out to Fight Hype as well. There was a press conference today that happened that took place between a group of promoters in the sport. You had the Sutherland brothers, one of the Sutherlands, and then Richard Schaefer, who most of us know from his days at Golden Boy and now Heyman as well. So huge news. So I'm gonna break it down for you guys as best as I can. Now, this thing called hold on. There's a thing called the World Boxing Super Series. It's going to be a tournament that takes place later on this year, and this group of promoters has gathered a bunch of money up, and they finally are putting together a big tournament on. The winner of the tournament will actually get $50 million. So that's how it's going to be. So yeah, the World Boxing Super Series. It'll be a bracket style tournament. It'll have 8 boxers from each weight class. The way it's going to work is you'll have 4 quarter-final fights, 2 semifinal fights, and then you have 1 final fight. So as the math breaks down like this, they're going to have 14 fight nights. So there'll be 14 fight cards. 7 will take place in America. 7 will take place in Europe. All the fights are going to start, relatively later at night. And it's a great thing they're doing, man. Not only are they basically going to have $50 million for the winner, but they're going to feature 2 weight classes, and this is going to start relatively soon. The first season of the World Boxing Super Series will take place in September of this year, and they're going to pick weight classes. Now, I think this is great. For everything that's great with boxing as a sport at its core, boxing is great because there's no teams involved. It's really just one man versus the other. That's what makes boxing so great. That's why we watch. We want to see the skill and the will and the determination that someone possesses and how they can use that to win. But boxing is great because it's very much mirrors life. So. Yeah, boxing is a great sport, but it lacks organization. I think what this is going to do, it's going to give it a little more organization. Fans, I know a lot of fans were clamoring for more things like the Super 6, which is, whatever. I have my opinion of the Super 6, but this right here, this right here, I hope that this is a good tournament. I hope, personally, because they said they're going to pick 2 weight classes. They're going to pick 2 weight classes, and then that's how they're going to have the seedings and the tournament and whatnot. Honestly, my personal hope is that welterweight and heavyweight are the 2 divisions that they pick. If it's welterweight and heavyweight, that would be great, but I don't expect it to be. But if it's as long as it's one of those 2 divisions, we get to see some of the biggest fights in boxing happen as a byproduct of this tournament. Then all credit goes out to Richard Schaefer and this group of promoters. Because now they're putting some structure in place and they're basically helping the sport of boxing, which is great at the pro level. Now, the winner of this tournament will not also get $50 million, but they'll also get a trophy called the Muhammad Ali Trophy. It looked very nice. It was a really nice trophy. And it's actually, it got the cosign from the Ali estate and the Ali family, so it's legit. And at least that's what they said. So I don't know if that's true, but that's what they said. So that's pretty cool. That the fact that they're going to keep the memory of Muhammad Ali alive, and a fighter can say that that they won a pretty nice trophy. It had kind of like for those of you out there, I don't know if you have any soccer fans out there or English football fans, or if you guys watch the English Premier League, the trophy kind of looked like the Premier League or the MLS Cup we have in America. It looked just like it. So I thought it was pretty cool, and it's going to give these fighters a structure and a framework. Because the thing is, a lot of the times these fighters do want to take the big fights, and it's not them that's the one ducking. It's really the promoters. Boxing, in many ways, is a promoter's game, and the fighters don't always have, they very seldom have the final say in what goes on. So, hopefully this can give the fighters and promoters alike a better framework to work within. And from promoters out there who aren't too greedy, who will put their fighters in some of the biggest fights, I think this would be great. So hopefully, guys like Eddie Hearn, Al Heyman, Bob Arum, guys of that nature. Hopefully they don't hold up certain fighters being in these tournaments. If they pick the welterweight weight class, I want to see the top welterweights. I want to see Kell Brook. I want to see Manny Pacquiao. I want to see Keith Thurman. I want to see Danny Garcia. I want to see Jesse Vargas. I want to see Errol Spence. I want to see the top guys, Amir Khan. I want to see as many top guys and big names and big fights as possible, because we're in the sport of boxing to see the best fights possible and with the biggest names. And I don't want this tournament. Hopefully this tournament isn't like the Super 6 where we had a certain group of guys and then guys start pulling out. I don't want to see pullouts. I think there should be some sort of rule that unless you're severely injured, you cannot pull out of this tournament, because there were a lot of freaking pullouts in that Super 6 tournament, and it was a tailor-made a tournament for Andre Ward to win. But that is neither here nor there. That's all spilled milk. I don't want to get into that. This is great for boxing. This is great for the fighters' careers. Like all around, it's great for the fighters' careers. It's great for the overall health of the sport. It's great for media channels like myself. There's going to be more fight cards, so there's more opportunities for me to go to these fights and get my interviews and keep the channel growing, and it's great all around. I think everybody wins in this situation. Boxing fans will win if they get the right fighters in the tournament, and I think that's probably the last thing that we're going to need to see. Will they get the top fighters in these tournaments? Because it really comes down to Al Heyman and Eddie Hearn approving their fighters and to go to these tournaments. So that's what I'm hoping happens. I'm really hoping that happens, because it would do nothing but great things to boxing. But I could definitely see a case in which Al Heyman declines his fighters going into a tournament like that, because he wants to continue enhancing and growing the PBC brand. But on the flip side, if you're gonna have 7 fight cards in America and 7 in Europe, then you would think that you're going to get your guys more visibility and exposure and just to build the names up more. So there's a lot of factors that go into a tournament like this. We don't have a ton of concrete details other than that it's going to be a bracket style tournament, 8 fighters in a tournament from from 2 weight classes. It'll start in September of 2017. 7 fight cards in America, 7 in Europe. The winner will get $50 million in the Muhammad Ali Trophy. And what can we say, man? It's going to be great for boxing. We have Richard Schaefer promoting it. We have the Sonderland brothers, whatever the heck the names are, the guys that promoted Mikhail Kessler. And that's really all the details we have. So as details continue to come out and we hear more, I'll make videos. But that's so far what we have. So the World Boxing Super Series, headed up by Richard Schaefer and a group of promoters. I think it's a great idea in theory, but it's really going to come down to the execution of it. Can Schaefer and these guys, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Richard Schaefer and Al Heyman, I believe, have a pretty good relationship, unless I'm getting them confused. So with that being said, I think this can work, but it's really going to come down to, can he get the top fighters? Let's say if there's 8 fighters, let's just assume that a couple fighters can't enter the tournament for whatever reason, whether that be injury or a promoter saying no for whatever reason. So if there's 10, let's say if it's the welterweight weight class, if there's 10 fighters, or if there's 8 fighters, and you have top 10 fighters, and 3 can't make it, you have bare minimum. I say you want to get the 5 biggest names from whichever 2 weight classes you pick. So if it's welterweights, you got to get the top 5 biggest names, the guys people want to see fight. So I'm thinking Kell Brook, I'm thinking Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, of course, the biggest name in boxing right now that's active still. So a lot of it's going to depend on who they get in these tournaments. But I don't want to ramble off too much more. I'm really excited about it. I'm kind of talking a lot because I'm really excited about this. Boxing has, like I said, lacked a structure. It's lacked a framework for a while. And I remember a year or 2 ago I was talking about this type of thing happening, and here it is in the form of the World Boxing Super Series. So everybody out there, boxing fans, no matter who you like, who you're a fan of, you should be happy about this. And just one thing, just be wary of is the execution of it. Will they half-ass it and kind of just make it for one fighter to win so they can prop up some guy, or will they actually do this the right way, getting the best to fight the best? That's what you should be worried about. But let me know what you guys think about the idea. Do you like the idea and the format of the World Boxing Super Series? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll leave the link to the 2-minute 55-second press conference they had on Fight Hype down below, so you guys can check it out and get more details on that. But yeah, leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.